is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another Roster Bubble Series video. Hit that like button if you haven't already, comment and subscribe. Also share it as well. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. If you guys haven't already, also check out the podcast episode from today where I broke down every aspect of the Giants game against the Lions, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that sort of good stuff. Another Roster Bubble Series video for you guys today, and it's going to be on Bobby McCain, who has been talked about a lot during camp. Obviously made a couple of plays against the Lions on Friday night. We'll get into that stuff. But first, I do want to get into our sponsor before we get into anything else. That is SEATGEEK. Thank you, SEATGEEK, for now sponsoring us. You guys can get $20 off your entire order with the promo code Big Blue in the Bronx. That goes for MetLife parking passes, concert tickets, game tickets, baseball, football, basketball, whatever you like off SeatGeek. Now you can get $20 off your entire order with the promo code Big Blue in the Bronx. So thank you guys, and thank you SeatGeek for giving us the recognition, and now we're sponsoring. You guys can get a little something for yourselves as well. So if you haven't been to any of these videos before, what I do is I take a player that's on the roster bubble. I talk about their background. I talk about their competition. I talk about ways they can win a spot on the roster, ways they can lose a spot on the roster, and then a prediction at the end. So Bobby McCain, 29 years old, 5'9", 196 pounds. He was originally a fifth-round pick out of Memphis by the Miami Dolphins back in 2015. Played a couple of seasons there, then decided to take his way over to Washington and played 2 seasons there, was actually cut this offseason, and the New York Giants decided to pick him up. So just some stats overview. I'll probably go over the last 3 years because I think that's most relevant. 2022, played all 17 games, so you do know he is reliable. Made a total of 76 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a quarterback hit, 2 quarterback pressures, 1 forced fumble, 5 pass deflections. Didn't have the success he had the season before. Also, if you're looking coverage, he struggled a little bit. He have a completion percentage of 78.8, 2 touchdowns, a passer rating of 111.9, 404 yards total. The year before, he actually got 4 interceptions. 2 were off the New York Giants in that game where Jake Fromm started the famous QB sneak game. Played all 17 games that year. 4 interceptions, returned for 63 yards and a touchdown. Also to note, 9 pass deflections, 63 tackles, no tackles for loss, no quarterback hits, none of that stuff. So he was more of a ball hawk rather than an in-the-box guy in 2021. And then his last season with Miami, 16 games, 1 interception, 5 pass deflections, 46 tackles, 2 quarterback hits. Of course, that was one of the last few years under Brian Flores. And look in coverage for 2021, did better than 2022, where he gave up 62.5 completion percentage. Same percentage in 2021 as 2020. Less yards in 2020, 139 compared to 2021, 311. 1 touchdown given up over those 2 years, so that's good. 65.5 passer rating in 21, 64.3 passer rating in 20. And we move on from there. So also snap percentages. He played most of his snaps career-wise with Washington on defense. He was known as their other safety, 93% for 2021 and 2022, and then 89% in 2021 Miami, 87% 2019 with Miami, 86 the year before that in 18, 17, 63%, 54% in 16, and in 2015, 31%. So what does this guy do, and also what did he do against the Detroit Lions? This guy can play a couple of different spots. He could play deep safety. He could play outside cornerback. Hasn't played that in a few years, though. He can play the slot, and he can also play in the box. He made a couple of nice plays, though they weren't tackles for loss. He made a couple of nice tackles against the Detroit Lions on Friday night. And that begs the question, as we dig into the competition here, he is facing competition from Javarius Owens, Alex Cook, and Nick McLeod. I added Javarius Owens in there just because in my opinion, after Friday night, I don't think Javarius Owens is a lock to make this roster, considering the fact he didn't make too many plays in camp, and he did okay. Not great, not good, not terrible against the Lions. I thought there were a couple plays he could have made. Alex Cook, undrafted free agent out of Washington, he played really well in the box. He's kind of like McCain, but not as much versatility. And then Nick McCloud, who's injured at the moment, played cornerback largely for the New York Giants last year, has converted to safety since. So one thing I'm definitely looking at, and also just to go to the stat sheet real quick, Bobby McCain made 5 tackles, was the third leading tackler on the Giants against the Lions on Friday night. But what I will say is this: Nick McCloud currently injured. I mentioned that in the show, mentioned that a few times, whatever. Bobby McCain has a real chance to take his roster spot, and there's going to be surprise cuts. Nick McCloud, yeah, he played this many games for the New York Giants last season, played a lot of them at corner, great. But if they see Alex Cook or Bobby McCain and want to keep Owens on the roster, he could go. There's going to be some surprise cuts during this training camp / preseason / going into the regular season period. So Bobby McCain, in terms of comparing him to Nick McCloud, I think he's got more versatility. He can't play corner as much. He can play a little bit of the slot. He can play deep, and he can play in the box, which kind of outduels the versatility that Nick McCloud has. And he still needs to reform his tackling technique, meaning Mr. McCloud. Now, Alex Cook, as I mentioned before, he doesn't have the versatility that McCain does and the experience of different positions that Kane does. Not Kane. Alex Cook, I think he's also converted safety from a different position in college, but still, I mean, he can make the practice squad, and you could call that a win for him. And Javarius Owens, he probably would make the practice squad if he doesn't make the roster, but right now I'm going to say that he makes the roster just for opportunity's sake. How can he win, meaning Mr. Bobby McCain? Use veteran experience to thrive over a young group. Right now, he's the leading horse. That's my opinion. Right now, he's the leading horse. Had a couple of second team and first team reps early in camp, slot corner, safety in the box too. So that just shows you with Wink's idea of using 2, 3, maybe even 4 safeties, Bobby McCain is a part of that ideology. Excel in multiple packages at corner, safety, and slot corner. Wherever they put him, he's got to thrive. He's got to thrive. That's the one way he's going to make the roster. Really, the main way is not just veteran experience because he's almost 30 years old and he's played with a couple of different teams, but also excelling in multiple packages at multiple positions. Excel versus the run. That's going to be another one. He excelled versus the run, in my opinion, on Friday night, and the Giants need tackling safeties, good tackling safeties. They need good tackling DBs too, but they also need guys that can defend the run. Bobby McCain, obviously, he's not going to be used 100% of the time like he was with Washington, but he's going to get his box reps here and there if he does make the roster, and right now he's got a pretty good chance of that. Once again, excelled versus the run. It's not like he's taking on tight ends, or he's going to be taking on interior offensive linemen. He's just going to be at that second level in the box trying to tackle the running back before making a big run. And he, making it short yardage run situations, not, oh my God, this guy explodes for 60 yards, touchdown, whoever we're facing. Special teams, he hasn't played special teams in a while in terms of like 49-50% of the snaps. That goes back to his first few years in Miami. But if the Giants are short on special teams players, I mean, that's a way you can make the roster. He was not part of that unit, by the way, that gave up the 95-yard punt return touchdown versus Maurice Alexander and the Detroit Lions. So how can he lose? Does not use the veteran experience to thrive over the young group, misses tackles versus the run, doesn't play well in the multiple packages and the multiple roles that Wink fits him in. That's basically that. I mean, if it's his spot to lose, it is really his spot to lose at this point. I thought coming in, okay, he's a veteran safety. We'll see what happens. We'll see what's what. McLeod's on the roster. They'll probably draft another safety, whatever. But he's really excelled thus far. He's really excelled, and the Giants seem to like this guy. So how can you win once again? Use veteran experience to thrive over young group. Excel and multiple packages at slot corner, safety, and corner. Excel versus the run. Special teams, ? How can he lose? Doesn't excel versus the run. Misses a lot of tackles. Doesn't thrive over the young group with experience, and fails at multiple roles given by Wink Martindale. I have him making the roster. I think I posted the roster prediction video 2-3 days ago, but I think Bobby McCain's going to make the roster. McCloud, I'm very much on the fence with right now because of his injury, but Bobby McCain, just looks like a guy that can play multiple spots on this defense, where you have Xavier McKinney and Jason Pinnock, who are more reserved in their own roles. You got Belton, and you also got Bobby McCain, for example. Those guys can play multiple positions, and they don't have to play 100% of the snaps. And they do well when they're taking over for guys who do play 100% of the snaps. So Bobby McCain is reliable, and I do have him making the roster. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops through, drops. Pre-show coming back. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.